This is Love Your Work. On this show, we help you find your unique signature as a creative entrepreneur. I'm David Cadavy. I've been a solopreneur for more than 10 years. I'm an international award-winning designer. I've written a couple best-selling books, Design for Hackers, and now The Heart to Start. From my closet in Colombia, I've interviewed titans of industry like Steve Case. I've interviewed best-selling authors like Seth Godin and James Altucher. I've interviewed experts on behavioral science, creators from dancers to a chef to a Hollywood set designer. I want to find out how each of them discovered what made them one in a million, and I bring those insights to you so you can find out what makes you one in a million too. If you are new here, welcome again. I'm David Cadavy. If you want to join us here on Love Your Work every Thursday, please hit subscribe on your podcast app and get my free Creative Productivity Toolkit. Sign up at cadavy.net/tools. Human productivity has its limits. For example, you can only type so fast. You can only fill out a spreadsheet so fast. However, creativity is infinite. It takes no time to have an idea, but not all ideas are created equal. It's interesting, traditional productivity and creative productivity seem to kind of be at odds with each other. I'm going to explore that in this week's essay. Why is it that productivity is limited and creativity is infinite? And I have a new message from a Patreon supporter this week. This time it's from the very Patreon supporter who gave me the idea to ask my Patreon supporters why they support Love Your Work on Patreon. This is from Drew Ackerman. You heard Drew back on episode 123. Drew is the creator of the amazing Sleep With Me podcast. Drew is also one of the top earners on Patreon with nearly 4,000 supporters. And I'm thrilled that he's also a Love Your Work supporter. And Drew says, I support you and the show because I believe in the mission of the podcast. More than that, I believe in your unique approach to the mission. Deeper than those things, there is something about your journey and your quest that resonates with me in a place beyond words. I also simply just like you. On top of all that is that I know how much work and emotional rigor goes into making podcasts. Keep going, buddy. So, wow, each one of these messages from these supporters is like a gift. Somehow, I'm still kind of always surprised when I hear from somebody and they sound like they really get the show. And it's an honor to hear that from an incredibly successful, brilliant creator like Drew is. So maybe you are like Drew. Maybe you get the mission of this podcast. Maybe you believe in my approach. Maybe my journey somehow resonates with you. Or maybe you simply just like me for some reason. So if any of the above is true, please support Love Your Work on Patreon. People like Drew support because it feels good to be a part of something that they believe in. So it might feel good if you're a part of Love Your Work too. Support at cadavy.net/donate. Again, you can support at cadavy.net/donate. Here is the article. Productivity is limited. Creativity is infinite. There's a difference between traditional productivity and creative productivity. Traditional productivity is limited. Creative productivity is infinite. Start with the metaphor of stacking bricks. You can only stack bricks so fast. You can come up with new ways of getting the bricks ready or new ways of laying down the mortar, but ultimately you have to put those bricks down one at a time. Time passes while you lay down those bricks. There's only so much time in a day. There are only so many bricks you can lay. Now take something like writing a book. A book is not just a collection of words. If you sat and typed random words as fast as you could, you would eventually end up with enough words to fill an average-sized book. But your book wouldn't sell. But if you arrange the words correctly, you can make an almost limitless impact. Consider Pride and Prejudice, which has sold over 20 million copies over the past 200 years. And it's possible to imagine a book doing even better. In fact, many books have. A Tale of Two Cities has sold 200 million copies over the past 150 years. Copies sold is only one metric by which to measure an idea, but in many ways, the sky is the limit in creativity. You can't write a book without laying down the words one by one as if they were bricks. Yet laying down words does not make a book. The choice of words that you lay down drastically affects the performance of that book. Traditional productivity is limited. Creative productivity is infinite. It takes no time to have an idea. Creative insights happen in a flash or a spark. It takes a collection of these insights, along with laying down words, to make a book. The quality of those insights dictates the success of the book. But how can you have quality ideas that have an impact? How can you have those ideas over and over, consistently, enough ideas to write a whole book or a dozen books? Creative insights are seemingly random. They can happen at any time. It's a cliché to have an idea in the shower. Archimedes had his fabled eureka moment while taking a bath. Penicillin and vulcanized rubber were accidental discoveries. The melody of Yesterday came to Sir Paul McCartney in a dream. We don't believe Zeus causes lightning. We no longer blame earthquakes on Poseidon. Yet you still hear artists talk in earnest about the muse, thousands of years after the conception of the muses. We may not know everything about creativity, but we know more than ever. Creative insights follow a predictable progression, traveling through stages. Periods of rest improve creative problem solving. Creative energy ebbs and flows. These characteristics of creativity are at odds with traditional productivity. Mental rest isn't likely to improve your bricklaying by a factor of 2, yet mental rest could improve the quality of your idea by a factor of 1,000. Yes, a deadline can spring creative thought into action, but it can also curb creativity. Productivity is limited and creativity is infinite. The methods we use to manage our traditional productivity can be useful in boosting our creative productivity, but only to a point. We need to think about creative productivity from the ground up. Is Love Your Work helping you find the intersection on your love and money Venn diagram? Does it bring you the inspiration and motivation to make you into the person that you want to be? If so, we, together, you and I, can make this the show that we want it to be. I'm trying to make a nourishing and thoughtful show, and I could use your help with that. Please donate to the show. Just a coffee a month will help support the hosting and production of this show. Just a coffee a month will help spread Love Your Work's message, helping more people live a balanced life with a healthy definition of success. To donate, visit our Patreon page at cadavy.net/donate. Patreon is a platform that lets you support creators like me, vote with your dollars, and keep Love Your Work going at cadavy.net/donate. As a thank you, you'll get early access, bonus content, and a discount on Love Your Work merchandise. Learn more at cadavy.net/donate. That's cadavy.net/donate. Love Your Work is made possible by top supporters, such as Arif Akhtar. This has been Love Your Work, and I'm David Cadavy. The theme music for this show is At Sea by Durena from the album About Everything and More by arrangement with Deep Elm Records at deepelm.com. Love Your Work is a production of Cadavy, Inc.